Welcome back to Photoshop for Orchestra Librarians. These are the beginners episodes. I hope you've been enjoying them. If you haven't subscribed, please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when other videos are uploaded. This is episode 7, and in this episode we're going to talk about how to open and how to save a file. So let's go first to open. I covered this in the introduction video, so if any of this isn't clear or if I'm moving too quickly, go back please and check the introduction video of this channel, this playlist, and you'll find what you need to there. So one way we can open is under File, Open, and it will bring up our open dialog box like you're used to seeing in any software. However, I prefer to open in this method. Just feel like I have a little bit more control over it, and that is I go to the folder where my file is. Now, typically I'm opening a PDF file or a TIFF file. If I've scanned from my copier, it's going to be a PDF file. Now, depending on your scanner or copier, you can probably scan as a TIFF or as even a JPEG or something like that from your copier. I don't recommend JPEG. However, you could scan as a TIFF, and that would be fine. One of the reasons I do PDFs all the time is because I don't always need to open something in Photoshop, or if I do, it may only need to be one page or a couple pages here or there. And it's a lot easier for me to open them as a PDF, open just the pages I need, and have the existing PDF already there. Or in some cases, if I don't need to touch it up at all, the PDF already exists. I don't have to convert it to a PDF. So that's something I like about that. So I just scan them all as PDF. And in this case, we're going to open this. So I right click. Now, if I just click open, it would be the same as double clicking. And that would open it in probably in Acrobat, whether it be DC or Acrobat Pro or Reader or whatever version of Acrobat you have is probably the default. So I need to make sure I click open with, and that will open it with Photoshop right there. I'm going to select that and tell it to open it in Creative Cloud. And so here we are. We went over everything on the right here before, so check the introduction video for more information on that. And I can select which pages I want to open. One question that comes up is how many pages can I open at a time? Well, that really depends on your system resources. Photoshop is quite a robust software, and it does take quite a bit of system resources. So depending on the age of your machine or just how good your hardware is, and your resources that you have available for the software when it's running, you may not be able to open as many pages as maybe some others could. So that might even mean only opening 5 pages. You will know if you open too many pages. What will happen is as you try to do very simple tasks, even like erasing or drawing, you will find that just to erase a few pixels, your computer will then need to process what you just did, and it will take you a long time to go from step to step in what you're doing. So you want to open just enough pages to be efficient, but not so many that it really bogs your system down. So in this case, I'm going to open 10 pages. That's works on both my home Mac and my work PC. And so I'm going to open pages 11 to 20. And here we go. And as I mentioned before, these pages are going to open in reverse. And that way the lowest page, page 11, will be the page on top. And I'll demonstrate through the process here too of how that's helpful. Here's page 11 and page 12, and here's page 11. If we click on this double arrow, we can see all the different pages and select on them. Just keep in mind that when you select on one, it will pop it out of order when you're closing the windows. If that doesn't make sense, I think it will once you experience it happening. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to edit this page, and to do that, I'm just going to run an action, and there we go. And so I just edited the page. Let's say that's everything I wanted to do to it. So now I can just do Command S on a PC, Control S. You can also do Command Shift S, that would be Save As, or Control Shift S if you're opening individual files and you want to save them with a different file name. But if you haven't saved them yet, if you just open them from one complete PDF file, then Command S or Control S will work just fine. And so here we go, Command S, and that opens up a Save dialog box. Now, there are different ways you can save this, and I'm just going to show you how I do it, and it seems to work well, and also based on some advice from some other Power Photoshop users, and that is I save them as TIFF files. One of the things that we really try to balance in the library is we want to have the files to be as small as possible, but with the highest quality possible. We also want them to be very easy to interface with PDFs. TIFF files do all of that. With a TIFF file, I'm going to get a higher quality image on the printout, and most of what we do is for printing, right? Not for web use or anything like that. In the Orchestra library, most of what we do is for printing. So I'm going to get a high level printout, and I'm also going to be able to have a fairly small file size comparatively to the quality that I have. So TIFF file is the way to go, and in the TIFF file, we'll just make sure we have layers. We'll talk about that a little later. There's something else I usually do before this step involving layers. There will be a episode coming up discussing layers. And the dot gain 20% works fine. So TIFF file is our format. If you want to change it, you can save it as a PDF and things like that. But I find that I lose quality and I end up with bigger files. So TIFF file it is. And if we stop there, we will find that we have very large TIFF files. So one of the things that we really want to focus on is this Lzw compression. The image compression, Lzw, it will still give you a very clear image. It also works well with text layers and yet keeps your files manageable. Otherwise, you will run out of storage space very quickly if you're working on a large project like this score, which is some 200 pages. So I'm going to click OK, and it has saved it. And so what I would typically do in my project is now I would do Command W, Control W on a PC. And I'm on to now, you can see, I'm on to page 12. So here, again, we can do my function, enter, Command S, enter, because I already have Lzw selected, enter, Command W. Again, enter, enter, enter. So I just did 3 pages. So you can see that if we set up our actions and if we get used to the keystrokes, we can move quite quickly through a project, especially when the editing that we need to do is consistent between between all the different pages. So the only thing I haven't done here that I normally would do is flatten layers, but like I said, we're going to talk about that in a subsequent episode. I hope this is helpful, and don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for episode 8.